While it's true that there are no good or bad results to a personality test, too high scores in today's trait are usually an issue. Today we look at the trait neuroticism. People who score high on neuroticism are more prone to experiencing negative emotions, such as anxiety, worry, and sadness, and to be more reactive to stress and more sensitive to negative events. On the other hand, people who score low in neuroticism tend to be more emotionally stable and less reactive to stress. Let's look at the 6 subfacets for neuroticism: anxiety, anger, depression, self-consciousness, impulsiveness, and vulnerability. First up is anxiety. The anxiety facet of neuroticism assesses an individual's tendency to experience feelings of nervousness, worry, and fear. The facet does not measure specific fears or phobias, but people with high scores are more likely to experience phobias. People who score high in anxiety tend to be more reactive to stress and more prone to experiencing negative emotions, such as anxiety, worry, and nervousness. On the other hand, people who score low in anxiety tend to be more calm, relaxed, and less reactive to stress. Moving on to anger. Anger refers to the tendency to experience anger and feelings such as frustration and bitterness. This trait measures a person's tendency to experience hostility. Whether the anger is expressed or not depends on the person's degree of agreeableness, another trait the Big Five measures. However, low scores on the agreeableness factor are often associated with high scores on the hostility trait. People who score high on the anger facet may be more prone to feeling irritable or easily annoyed, and will have difficulty managing their emotions. And people who score low on the anger facet are more emotionally stable and less prone to experiencing negative emotions. Next is depression. The depression facet measures an individual's tendency to experience sadness, hopelessness, and a lack of pleasure in activities. People who score high on the depression facet may be more prone to feeling down or depressed, and can have difficulty finding enjoyment in their daily lives. In the other end of the scale, people who score low on the depression facet may be more emotionally stable and less prone to experiencing negative emotions. That does not mean that they are necessarily cheerful and happy. Those traits are more associated with the trait extraversion. The 4th subfacet of the 5-factor model trait neuroticism is self-consciousness. This subfacet reflects an individual's tendency to be self-aware and sensitive to social context, as well as their tendency to experience anxiety in social situations. People who score high on the self-consciousness subfacet will be more prone to introspection and self-reflection, and are more aware of their thoughts, feelings, and emotions. They may also be more concerned with how they are perceived by others and be more self-conscious in social situations. They may also experience discomfort or anxiety in social situations, particularly when they feel that they are being judged or evaluated by others. Impulsivity is next on the list. People who score high on the impulsivity subfacet tend to act on their impulses and desires without fully considering the consequences of their actions. They make impulsive decisions such as making spontaneous purchases or engaging in risky behaviors. They also have difficulty controlling their impulses and may have a hard time delaying gratification. Impulsivity can be a challenging trait to manage, as it can lead to poor decision-making and have negative consequences for an individual's personal and professional life. However, it can also be a source of creativity and can lead to spontaneous and exciting experiences. Understanding an individual's level of impulsivity can be helpful in predicting their behavior and in helping them manage their impulses in a more constructive way. Our 6th and final facet is vulnerability. Vulnerability measures how likely someone is to feel vulnerable and easily overwhelmed by stress or negative emotions. People who score high on the vulnerability subfacet can have a hard time coping with difficult situations. They may feel anxious or worried in response to stress and may struggle to handle changes or unexpected events. However, it can also be a source of empathy and can help an individual connect with others who are experiencing similar difficulties. Understanding your level of vulnerability can be helpful to develop coping strategies to manage difficult situations. And that's a wrap. Let's recap the 6 subfacets: anxiety, anger, depression, self-consciousness, impulsiveness, and vulnerability. This video is the last part of a series where we deep dive into understanding personality. In a future video, we will look into the do's and don'ts when you have applied for a job that requires a personality test. So, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out.